Captain Brooks was a no-nonsense, hardcore cop who'd come up through the ranks, earning his position through hard work, long nights. Like many in his line of work, he had failed marriages behind him and an uncertain future once he retired. But that was the future. Now he was the captain and the boss. The job was his life, and nobody but nobody argued with him when he used that tone of voice. Nick followed him down the hall to a small, square office dominated by a single worn desk buried under teetering piles of manila file folders. Large windows looked out on the bullpen where the officers Brooks supervised sat. Behind the desk stood bookshelves that were filled with worn textbooks on criminal investigation techniques, forensics, anatomy, and weaponry, along with old three-ringed binders that held God and the captain alone knew what. The only personal touches were some old faded snapshots of his children and grandchildren and a pair of bowling trophies. 2 chairs faced the captain's desk. One was already occupied by a blond man with sharp features and cold blue eyes. Nick had seen him before, around the federal courthouse when he was waiting to testify. He was a Fed, a Fibby. He greeted the man with a brief nod before taking the open seat beside him, all the while wondering what in the hell was going on. Captain Brooks sat. Leaning back in his chair, he made the appropriate introductions. "Nick Antonelli, this is Special Agent Jesse Tennyson. Special Agent Tennyson, this is Detective Nick Antonelli. Agent Tennyson is here to ask you a favor." "A favor?" Nick didn't bother to hide his skepticism. In his personal experience, the feds didn't politely ask for favors. They demanded what they wanted, and they generally got it. Tennyson gave Nick an assessing look, taking in every inch of his appearance in that single glance, much as Nick himself had done a few seconds before. Nick knew what he saw. A big man, his hair a little longer than average, its coffee-brown curls touched by just a hint of gray. Hazel eyes stared unflinchingly at the world, dominating a face with a strong jaw, high cheekbones, and deep dimples. He looked hard, tough, the kind of man casting directors would seek for a made man in an 80s-era De Niro movie, but with a better suit, perfectly tailored to emphasize broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and conceal the shoulder rig that was a daily part of his uniform. "Your brother is David Antonelli?" "Shit. Hell. Damn fucking shit. Do not tell me David is involved in something the feds are investigating." "Yes." "And he works for Brianna Hai?" "Yes." A slight smile tugged at the corner of Tennyson's mouth. He could tell that Antonelli wasn't happy about his line of questioning, and it amused the hell out of him. "Glad one of us is having a good time," Nick thought sourly. "David, what in the hell have you gotten yourself into?" "We've been looking at Brianna Hai in regard to a couple of unsolved cases, but we're having a hard time getting close to her. She has a very small and extremely tight-knit circle of acquaintances." "And you want to use my brother?" "No, he's close to her, but not one of her confidants." Nick sat up straighter. "We want to use you. Hai doesn't socialize much. She works at the shop, works out at the gym, and occasionally does a little modeling for a local artist. We've determined that the best way to get close to Brianna is at the gym where she works out, the Julong Gym and Dojo, and it's not open to the public, private membership by invitation only. We're hoping that you can convince your brother to wrangle you and your friend Jesse an invitation." "It won't work. David knows I work out at our Uncle Phil's. Always have." "Your Uncle Phil is going to close down for 6 weeks to do some remodeling," Tennyson said mildly. "I see." He did, too. The feds were apparently serious enough about this to convince Phil to shut down. "In exchange for your help in this, we will keep your brother out of it as much as we possibly can." Nick looked over at the captain, who was giving his best neutral expression. There was nothing to read there. "Just an invitation. That's all, just get me